Welcome to video podcast number 22. And I can give you fair warning that some of you men who have followed me up to this point and have subscribed to my YouTube channel up to this point are probably going to unsubscribe. Because I'm just going to give you a lighthearted warning right now, man. For some of you, not all of you, not most of you, but just some of you, I'm about to lay you out, man. I'm telling you. Look me in my eyes and believe me. There's some of you out there, this video podcast, I'm about to lay you out, man. Believe that. There I go. Every time I do a video podcast, something happens to my face. Now I got something on my eyelashes. First of all, before I get into my harsh criticisms and admonishments, I want to always give thanks and appreciation to those who support me through my Patreon page, who support me through PayPal donations, and probably most importantly, those who support me by purchasing one or more of my ebooks, one or more of my paperbacks, and one or more of my audiobooks. I really appreciate all of you all who support me through some type of financial means and always offer me kudos and words of gratitude and support and encouragement. So I appreciate all you guys. If you ever want to give me public feedback, as you know, comment section below, or you can write me privately through one of my two Facebook pages. I got one public and one personal Facebook page. And you can write me at YouTube at mode1.net, MODEONE.net. This is early in the morning. You know, I got my this is my early morning flavor. Rise. Yeah, rise. I love rise in the morning. Excuse me. Okay. I've noticed both from comments made in comment section on either my YouTube videos or other YouTube videos that were produced by other people, and some private feedback I got. Because as you know, I mentioned on my last video podcast, number 21, that I recently had a parting of ways with somebody that I used to consider, a close friend or potential business collaborator. Now, because of what he does, he attracts a different type of follower than what I attract. Some of my followers are similar and shared, but then he has another group of followers that are distinctly different from mine. Because he's not a dating coach, and I am. He's a guy who expresses a lot of opinions about stuff, a lot of, analysis of stuff and criticisms of stuff. But yeah, a lot of people, and as much as I don't want to bring race into the issue, I'm going to bring race into the issue. It's mainly brothers, man. So all my non-black followers and supporters, you don't really have much to do with this this beef that's going on. You can say this is a brother thing. But yeah, some brothers now are coming at me and saying, oh, Alan Roger Currie, I thought he was cool, but he ain't nothing now but a white knight type that panders to women and defends women. You know, I thought he was a cool brother, but he ain't who I thought he was. You know, Alan, I thought you was down, man. I thought you was down with the cause, man, but you one of them brothers who looks out for sisters and defends what they about. Man, look at me right now, man. Look at me. A couple brothers had the nerve to come at me like, Alan, you say you like straightforwardly honest and unapologetically honest, but I think you hold a lot of stuff back. You tend to walk on eggshells. You don't lay it out like you describe yourself to be, because you don't have the manly courage to lay shit out like some of the other YouTube podcasts do. That's what a couple guys actually said to me. Some brothers trying to paint me as some kind of, you know, Boy Scout who's concerned with my image and reputation rather than keeping shit real. Now, I believe I do always keep shit real. Anybody who watched my video podcast know I keep shit real on this channel. But if you want me to take it to a higher level of real, like arguably the highest level I can go to, particularly in terms of evaluating a lot of you men's behavior, oh, this is the video podcast for you then, brother. This is the video podcast for you then, brother. You want me to keep shit extra real? I'm going to keep shit extra real. I always keep shit real, but I'm going to keep shit like extra real. See, some of you motherfuckers, man, y'all can't pull no bitches. That's starting point one. Period. Some of you guys can't pull no women. You don't have what it takes to attract and seduce women. That's starting point number one. You better accept that reality. Some of y'all just don't have what it takes. You know, I used to fantasize about being an NBA basketball player. But guess what? I didn't have what it takes. I didn't even have what it takes to make the varsity basketball team in high school. I cried, man, when I didn't make the basketball team my junior and senior year. I used to fantasize about being a superstar basketball player. But I just didn't have the athletic talent to live up to that dream. And I had to, you know what I had to do? I had to accept that and move on with my life. I had to accept that and move on with my life. I did a video podcast already. It was called, I think, The Fantasy and Reality of True Love. And I started off, that was probably my most emotional video podcast to date. What did I tell a lot of you guys in that video? I asked you the question, I said, who told you life was fair? Who told you life was fair? Did your mother tell you that? Did your father tell you that? Your older sibling tell you that? One of your aunts or uncles tell you that? Man, there's people born with healthy vision, and there's some people born blind. You think the people born blind think life is fair? You think children born with just one arm without the other arm think life is fair? You think people born with handicaps and physical deformities and whatnot think life is fair? Motherfucker, you better wake the fuck up, man, and understand that life ain't fair. Not everybody's given the same lot in life. That's what you need to understand. Okay? And as I relate that to this whole male versus female, man versus women deal, hey man, some of y'all ain't gonna never pull no 10. You want me to keep shit real? You say I'm holding back? I'm gonna lay you out. Look me in my eyes, man. Some of y'all ain't gonna never share the bed of a 10 unless you paying them $100,000s or millions of dollars. Some of y'all ain't gonna never share the bed of no 10. You know, on this mythical 1 to 10 scale of evaluation of women's looks. Some of y'all ain't gonna never ever pull no 8, 9, or 10. Believe that. Because y'all ain't got what it takes. And see, some of these pickup artists and other dating coaches won't tell you that. I'll tell you that. Why you think in my books and when I do workshops and my coaching sessions, two things I never guarantee no client of mine. I never guarantee a male client of mine that if he follows my advice, he's going to increase the quantity of women he attracts. And I never guarantee a male client that he's going to improve the quality or caliber of woman he attracts. I never guarantee a man that shit. I know some pickup artists who do. They guarantee guys that if they follow their advice, they're pretty much guaranteed to pull 8s, 9s, and 10s. I don't guarantee no men that shit. Because I'm realistic. I'm not feeding into men's delusional fantasies. Again, you want me to lay you out real? Man, some of you guys, man, come on. Some of you guys ain't going to ever share the bed of no 8, 9, and 10. Again, with the possible exception, and if you're paying those women hundreds of thousands of dollars, or millions of dollars. I've been in the beds with 8s, 9s, and 10s without the benefit of a 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure salary. Because I got it like that. Damn it, I got it like that. You don't. How's that for real? Motherfucker. Coming at me? Some of you brothers get off having these mental orgasms, whining and complaining about women like I talked about in my last video podcast. You want this adversarial relationship. Man, I don't have no adversarial relationship with sisters. Never had and never will. I've had my criticisms of certain sisters over the years, for damn sure. But one thing about me, man, I never exclusively criticize sisters. When I criticize women, 95% of the time, I criticize all women. I criticize Caucasian women, Asian women, Hispanic women, and black women. Because I've dealt with all types of women. I've had casual sex with just about every race of woman on this earth. So when I have criticism of women, it's never exclusively towards black women. Because all women got their strengths and flaws. So for some of you brothers who are always putting white women on a pedestal, y'all better wake the fuck up. Shit, I deal with white women, man. White women got their flaws. Shit, white men complain to me about white women all the time. You think they ain't got their flaws? Asian men complain to me about Asian women all the time. You think they ain't got their flaws? Hispanic men complain to me about Hispanic women all the time. You think they ain't got their flaws? All you brothers out here want to act like black women are the most flawed women on earth, man. Get the fuck out of here and wake the fuck up. Sisters ain't your enemy. Your enemy is that motherfucker you wake up in the morning and look in the mirror every day. That's your enemy. It's your goddamn self. That's who's the fucking enemy. Your weak ass be no backbone behavior. That's who's the fucking enemy. So for those of you, I'm still not going to mention this brother's name, the one who I parted ways with, but I'll mention some of the details of what led to us parting ways, since a lot of y'all are clamoring for that and wanting more details. I'll tell you how it started. Go back to, when you finish with this video, go back to my video called Direct versus Indirect in Preventing Date Rape. It was a starting point of why me and this brother had this split. I made the point in that video where I said some of you men cannot handle being rejected by women and or indefinitely ignored by women. But I said the reality is, if a woman is not attracted to you, you got to just accept that and move on. And then I followed that up by saying some men have not been able to just accept that and move on. They've gotten so bitter and frustrated because they've been rejected by women and or ignored by women that they decided to go out and kill women, like Elliot Rodger, George Sodini, a few other guys I can't think of off the top of my head. Those bitter misogynist types. These guys, they couldn't handle being rejected and or ignored, so they went out and killed people. I think those motherfuckers are the scum of the earth. So this brother I parted ways with, he said, man, Elliot Rodger has a right to his dating preferences. He has a right to his dating preferences. And he was probably tired. I'm paraphrasing some of his words, so I'm not giving them verbatim. But essentially, this brother was arguing that Elliot, the biggest thing he argued was that Elliot Rodgers is entitled to his dating preferences. And he shouldn't feel like he needs to accept being rejected or move on. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. And if you don't agree with that, then you're a delusional, unrealistic motherfucker, man. Hey, man, check this out. Again, you want me to lay shit out extra real? Hey, man, if your preference is women, Caucasian women with blonde hair and blue eyes, and no woman with blonde hair and blue eyes gives you the time of day, then guess what? You got to accept that and you got to move on. Or you got to jack off for the rest of your life fantasizing about being with a woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. You got to do one of the two, man. If you're a guy that says, my preference is to only date women that look like Halle Berry, and every woman you meet who looks like Halle Berry ain't giving you the time of day, you got to accept that and move on, man. You ain't going to pull no Halle Berry type. That's just real fucking talk, man. I remember when I used to go over to PUAHate.com, which I never should have, but, you know, I did get some business from there. I ain't going to lie. Yeah, there's a lot of guys that ended up purchasing Skype consultations from me because I would post over there. But see, that was one of my, before I got, matter of fact, speaking of PUA Hate, 90% of the reason why that site, that message board got closed down was because of Elliot Rodger. Elliot Rodger used to post on PUAHate.com. But one of my major, if not the major criticism I had of guys on PUAHate.com is that all these motherfuckers on there thought that they was entitled to be hooking up with a Victoria's Secret model or Playboy centerfold. They literally all thought that they was entitled to be hooking up with an 8, 9, or 10. Motherfucker, some of y'all ain't gonna never share the bed of an 8, 9, or 10. And I used to tell these guys that. If a guy is 400 pounds with 5 teeth in his mouth and he only takes a bath 2 or 3 times a month, you think that motherfucker gonna pull a Victoria's Secret model? Come on, man. I don't feed into delusional fantasies, man. Some of y'all need to wake the fuck up, man. Y'all all ain't destined to hook up with no Victoria's Secret model or no Playboy centerfold caliber woman. And on a side note, looks ain't everything anyway, man. All you guys, all you guys talking about is how hot a woman is. She hot, she hot, she hot, she hot, she hot. I talked about a previous video podcast where that was entitled Looks versus Sex Appeal. Quite frankly, for me personally, I put just as much, if not more, emphasis on a woman's sex appeal than I do on a woman's looks. Like, I met women that were good looking that weren't really sexy. And I met women who were 5, 6, and 7s that were sexy as fuck. So for me, and particularly if you're talking about a long-term relationship or marriage, you are really setting yourself up for failure. If your only criteria for a wife or a long-term girlfriend is looks, brother, you are setting yourself up for failure, bro. You are really setting yourself up for failure, dude. If you think marriage is just all about marrying a woman who looks like a Victoria's Secret model, then you don't know what marriage is about. Because I'm going to tell you straight up, man, any woman you marry, man, her looks going to change as she get older. Believe that, whether it's added weight or the skin tone and skin complexion going to change, more wrinkles in the face, whatever, man. I mean, what the fuck are you talking about? So if you're talking about for long-term relationships, you're stupid for even putting all your emphasis on looks. I mean, looks can be part of your criteria, but if that's your only criteria, you got issues. And even for more short-term, casual sex type relationships, man. I mean, again, man, unless some of y'all paying money, big money, some of y'all ain't gonna, y'all ain't gonna, man, dude. Some of y'all ain't gonna never hook up with no babe for free. Y'all might hook up with him while you tricking. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. O'Shea Duke Jackson has been cracking me up, man. He said he gonna come out with a book called Mode 6, Instant Tricking in the Clubs. O'Shea's a fool, man. If y'all don't know O'Shea, he's another podcast, YouTube podcast host, man. He cracks me up. But he said he's going to come out with a book called Mode 6, Instant Tricking in the Clubs. But yeah, man, that's for a lot of guys, man, you know, keeping all things serious. That's the only way you're gonna pull 8s, 9s, and 10s is if you tricking, if you spending money on these women. But if you're talking about pulling an 8, 9, or 10 based on a combination of your looks and your confidence, personality, and charm, a lot of you guys ain't gonna never pull no 8, 9, or 10. Some of you guys might not even pull a 6 or a 7. Keeping shit extra real. Some of you motherfuckers, excluding money and material possessions, if you push money and material possessions to the side, some of you motherfuckers ain't gonna never not only pull an 8, 9, or 10, y'all not gonna pull a 5, 6, or 7. Some of y'all are destined to hook up with a 2, 3, 4, or 4. Again, to reiterate, man, I don't have no adversarial relationship with women. And more specifically, I don't have an adversarial relationship with black women. Man, it was a black woman who helped me turn my ebook into a paperback. An attorney in Chicago named Kimberly Jean Brown. Much love to you. Shout out to you, Kimberly. But yeah, man, she invited me to do my first major speaking presentation about Mode 1 in Chicago in January of 2006. And it was that speaking presentation that ended up resulted in me turning my ebook into a paperback. I had 2 other sisters, man, who sponsored book signings for me back in the day in the Chicago area, man. Why would I have beef against sisters when sisters have helped me promote my books? I ain't got no beef against sisters. And that's not to say I won't call them out on some, as most brothers call it, their fuckery. There's a difference between calling women out on their bullshit and whining and complaining. Let me make that clear. Like some people asked me after my last video podcast, Alan, what exactly do you mean when you say whining and complaining? Because some guys argue that certain whining and complaining is needed and valid and legitimate. See, I already told you what I call women out on. And men too. Not just women, but men too. The people I call out is primarily people who exhibit behavior that's blatantly dishonest. Yeah, I already said that. Blatantly dishonest, blatantly disingenuous and insincere. Behavior that's highly misleading and manipulative. Behavior that's very inconsistent, contradictory, and or hypocritical. There might be a few other areas, minor areas, but those are my main areas that I call out. And again, not just for women, but for men too. So if I'm calling out people like that, or some other YouTube podcast is calling out people like that, for those reasons, I don't have no issue with that. If you calling out women because you're able to cite instances where they were dishonest, blatantly insincere, misleading and or manipulative, or highly inconsistent, contradictory, and hypocritical with their behavior, I don't have no disagreements with that. Here's what I'm talking about, and this goes back to what I talked about in that video, direct versus indirect, preventing date rape, that caused me to part ways with this brother who I was cool with. If you're doing a bunch of whining and complaining because women have preferences that don't include you, that's what I'm talking about. If you're whining and complaining because women prefer guys with blonde hair and blue eyes, and because you got brown hair and brown eyes, those women aren't paying attention to you, and you going on Facebook whining and complaining about that, you need to shut the fuck up, man. If you whining and complaining that women prefer men who are 6 feet tall or taller, and you happen to be 5'5", 5'6", or 5'7", I'm saying you need to shut the fuck up, man. If you complaining because women only, you know, a lot of brothers like to say women only like guys, brothers from the streets and brothers from the hood, street thug types. If that's their preference, that's their preference, man. Why are you whining about it? If that's who gets the pussy wet, why are you whining about it? That's what I'm saying. Why are you whining about it? Obviously, they don't want you. So why are you whining about it? That's what I'm saying. If you interacted with a woman and she misled you in some kind of way, you know, manipulated you, exploited you in some kind of way, and you didn't see it coming, yeah, you got a right to go on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter and complain about that shit. I'll give you that. I'll give you a pass on that. If you had a specific interaction with a woman and she made you believe she was one way, but over a period of time she proved to be another way, and that leaves you feeling pissed off, you got a right to complain about that shit. I don't hold that against you. But as far as women who you ain't never dated or interacted with in your life, the women who have either rejected you or even more so just have ignored you, you weren't even on their radar, and you complaining about them, I'm telling you vehemently, emphatically, I'm telling you to shut the fuck up. For those of you who say I'm holding back, I'm not keeping shit 100% real, is that 100% real for you? I'm telling you to shut the fuck up. That's what I'm telling you, man. That's what I'm telling you. It ain't meant for you to hook up with every woman you want to hook up with. You think I've hooked up with every single woman I wanted to hook up with in my life? No. Now, I've hooked up with a good percentage of the women I wanted to hook up with. But not every woman. I talked about in a previous podcast about a couple women who I was able to have casual sex with them, but there was at least 2 women that I wanted to upgrade that relationship to more of a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, and those women didn't want to. Among other reasons, because they said I wasn't making enough cheese, man. They wanted that money, man. They was like there was a chick I was really digging on in California, man, who on the positive end, we had a lot of casual sex together. But when it came to me suggesting that we upgraded to more of a serious relationship, she was like, no, Alan, you ain't making enough money for me. She was a sister who was all about hooking up with guys making 6 and 7 figures. I had another woman in Indianapolis who was like that. She was down with having casual sex with me, but she didn't want to do no boyfriend-girlfriend thing because she wanted to hook up with guys making big money. I had to accept that, man. I didn't go on Facebook and internet whining and complaining about it. I had to accept it, man. You know, I didn't disparage these women afterwards and call them out of their name and call them bitches and shit. Man, I had to accept that and move on. If a specific individual woman that you're attracted to is not attracted to you, you gotta accept that and move on. If a certain type of woman, say again, your preference is women with long hair with green eyes. If all the women you meet who got long hair and green eyes ain't giving you no romantic or sexual attention, man, you gotta accept that and move on. You gotta readjust your preferences. That's what I'm saying. And this brother again, who I parted ways with, he was arguing that he don't want to accept that. He basically said, I don't want to readjust my preferences. My preferences are what they are. And I ain't going to accept it and move on. I'm telling you, motherfucker, you got to. That's what I'm telling you straightforwardly. You got to, man. Or you're going to drive yourself crazy and you're going to become an Elliot Rodger type. That's what you're going to do. You're either going to end up jacking off for the rest of your life or you're going to become an Elliot Rodger type. That's what I would warn these guys on PUA Hate, man. I was like, man, if y'all don't change y'all way of thinking, man, at minimum, y'all going to become involuntarily celibate for the rest of your life and just be jacking off for the rest of your life, masturbating. And in extreme scenarios, some of y'all going to become serial killers of women, man, because y'all so frustrated because you can't pull your preferences. I ain't got no sympathy for a motherfucker who can't pull his preferences. Especially if he's not actively engaging in self-improvement activities. Now, next to money and material possessions, maybe helping a guy pull an 8, 9, and 10, the other thing, man, you just got to improve yourself. That's where I come in. Some of you guys, if you're too overweight, you need to lose weight. If you're too underweight, you need to gain weight. If you wear your hair all fucked up, you need to get a haircut and better grooming on a regular basis. Some of you guys need to improve just your overall level of self-confidence. How confidently you express yourself verbally. Again, that's where I come in. That's the biggest area where I help guys is improving their manner of verbal expression with women. Expressing themselves verbally in a manner that's more confident, more self-assured, more smooth, more seductive. Smooth and seductive. That's where I come in. That's why guys pay me thousands of dollars. I help men with a lot of areas, but the biggest area I help men in is their verbal communication skills. So if you just engage in some degree of self-improvement, you might be able to improve the caliber of women you attract. Say from a 5 to a 6, or a 6 to a 7, or 7 to an 8. But if you ain't willing to engage in no self-improvement, or combined with the fact that some of your preferences and aspirations in terms of the quantity and or quality of women you want to attract is delusionally unrealistic, you're fucking yourself up, man. You're fucking yourself up. Again, man, some of you guys who think you're entitled to hook up with like a Victoria's Secret model, and you a cashier working at McDonald's with 8 rotten teeth in your mouth, man, y'all better wake the fuck up, man. That ain't gonna happen for you in this lifetime. That ain't gonna happen for you, man. Who told you that? Who even gave you the impression that was gonna help? That was gonna happen? Some other pickup artist, tell you that shit? Some other dating coach tell you that shit? You was a fool for believing them, man. Again, there are some pickup artists and dating coaches who do sell that to men. They sell them a dream. They sell men a fantasy. That if you buy my CDs, if you buy my DVDs, if you attend my workshop, I guarantee you that you're going to be hooking up with 8, 9s, and 10s on a regular basis. And I'm here to tell you today, if nobody else has told you up to this point, that's bullshit. I ain't never told no clients or followers of mine that in no workshop or no one-on-one session. I ain't never told no clients that shit. I've never, ever told no guy that if you follow my advice and read all my books and listen to all my audio books, that you're going to significantly increase the quantity of women you attract and or significantly improve the quality or caliber of women you attract. Because I know I'm a realistic motherfucker, man. Some of you guys just ain't got it, man. You don't. Some of you guys don't have what it takes to pull no 8, 9, or 10, man. Again, unless you put money on the table. Some of you guys, I mean, in terms of pulling an 8, 9, or 10, again, just based on a combination of your physical appearance as well as your personality and behavior traits, some of you ain't got it, man. You ain't gonna never hook up with no 8, 9, or 10. Ever. Is that real enough for you? Huh? Was that extra real enough for you? I hope so. So if you want to continue to go on in life, man, you know, being bitter and resentful about that shit, God bless you. You know? That's what a lot of you guys are doing. You think I don't watch you. I watch you on both Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. You guys go to one guy's podcast because all he does is bash women, and you like, yeah, bash those bitches, man. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Bash those bitches, man. They ain't shit. They ain't shit. Fuck them bitches. Particularly a lot of you brothers, man. I don't know if I pay attention to a lot of the Caucasian guys or Asian guys or Hispanic guys doing that. But I'm sure white guys got their own guys they go to about that. But I know a lot of brothers, man, y'all get off. Y'all thinking some of y'all be having mental orgasms listening to a guy dogging out women. Y'all be sitting there cheering them like, yeah, man, he letting them bitches have it, man. Let them bitches have it. Man, I ain't into that shit. Again, there are a lot of aspects of women's behavior that deserve criticism. No doubt. No doubt. So don't get me wrong. There are a lot of aspects of women's behavior that legitimately and validly deserve criticism. But one thing that people compliment me on is this, man. I am a brother who, I have my moments when I get away from objectivity, but no less than 95% of the time, I'm an objective thinking dude, man. I look at things objectively. That, for those young guys who might not know what that means, is that when you look at things subjectively, that means you look at things only from your point of view, only from the manner of how you think. That means you're a subjective thinking guy. If you only look at things from your own perspective and nobody else's perspective, that means you're a subjective thinker. An objective thinker is somebody who at least attempts to look at things, evaluate an issue from other people's perspective. And see, a lot of you men are not objective, and I've talked about this in at least a couple previous video podcasts. For example, a lot of you guys, some of you guys want to be highly promiscuous yourself, but then you want to turn around and criticize women for being promiscuous. Who the fuck are you to criticize them, man? And you want to be promiscuous yourself? I mean, really? Seriously? Who are you to criticize women for being promiscuous and you out there trying to be promiscuous yourself? I'm telling you to shut the fuck up. That's what I'm telling you to do. With your non-objective ass. You want to have your preferences like a woman who's extremely beautiful with a great body. Okay, fine. But then you want to turn around and criticize women who want the same thing, who want a man who's great looking with a nice body. You want to criticize him? I'm telling you to shut the fuck up. That's what I'm telling you to do. With your non-objective ass. You a man got 2 kids out of wedlock and you criticizing women who got 2 kids out of wedlock. I'm telling you to shut the fuck up. That's what I'm telling you to do. With your non-objective ass. You criticizing women for bashing men, but you spend all your time bashing women. I'm telling you to shut the fuck up with your non-objective ass. That real enough for you? Does it seem like I'm walking on eggshells today? I don't think it does, motherfucker. in my final note, I got a lot of feedback, both publicly and privately, from guys who self-proclaimed MGTOW followers, because they felt like in my last video I took a jab at MGTOW, which stands for men going their own way. I was chopping it up on the phone with my friend and fellow dating coach, Steve the Dean Williams, recently. Now, everybody know, I get a quick side note on me and Steve, speaking of parting ways and falling out with people. If everybody know, I think some people know publicly about me and Steve's history. Now, you talking about somebody I've fallen out with multiple times. He knows it. Yeah, Steve D. Williams, we first connected in, I want to say October of 2006, over 10 years ago. Interesting thing is, we still have yet to meet in person. I've never met him in person. So you can say we have what I would call an internet friendship. But, man, we've had at least 4, if not 5, falling outs. Some falling outs of ours have lasted 4, 5, 6 months. We had at least one falling out. We didn't speak to each other for 3 years, or just under 3 years. So he and I are somebody who can relate to the idea of falling out, because yeah, he and I have fallen out. And speaking of falling out, one of the times we fell out was because one time on Facebook, Steve D. Williams said if anybody is about MGTOW, then they a bitch. And I actually defended you MGTOW guys. I came at Steve and said, man, that's too harsh, man. You know, there's some things I think are legitimate about MGTOW, but Steve was hardcore. He was like, no, man, I don't believe in no fucking MGTOW. He said, man, anybody who subscribes to the MGTOW philosophy is a bitch. And he ended up calling a guy that we had as a mutual friend basically a bitch. Now, I would never go that far to say that any and all guys who subscribe to MGTOW are just weak-ass, whining, complaining bitch types, but you know, speaking of Steve, he had this joke about MGTOW. He said, they say they're going their own way, but I'm asking, where they going? That's a valid question. He said, where they going? And what he means by that is that there's only 2 genders on this earth, men and women. So if you're a heterosexual man and you're saying you're going to avoid women, I mean, what's your other option? To fuck animals? I mean, you gonna make yourself become bisexual? I mean, what are you gonna do? You gonna just jack off for the rest of your life? There used to be a joke that goes, I want to say back to the 1970s, where you used to hear it in certain movies, where guys would say women, when, you know, where they would show like a husband frustrated with his wife, and he would say women. You can't live with them, but you can't jerk off forever. So unless you plan on becoming a monk, I mean, what you gonna do, man? You know, some of these MGTOW guys took a lot of my comments and said I was attacking them and I don't understand what MGTOW's about, and maybe I don't. Like one guy, he wrote in, he's in my, you look at my last video, some guy wrote in my comments section, because here's what I've always believed. Now this guy said there's a 3rd category. I always believe there's only 2 categories of MGTOW, which is guys who completely and indefinitely ignore women, period. And a secondary group of MGTOW would be guys who generally don't interact with women, but if a woman initiates conversation and interaction with them and offers them sex, they'll take it. That's the only 2 factions of MGTOW I knew about. Now, a guy in my comment section of my last video podcast, he said there's at least one more category of MGTOW, which is guys who do still interact with women. they still ask women out on dates or initiate conversations and interactions with women with the intent of having sex with them. Their only thing is they just refuse to marry them, cohabitate with them, or have kids with them. I never heard of that third group. To me, just my own opinion, that don't really sound like a true MGTOW. If you're initiating contact with women, how are you MGTOW? That don't even make sense to me. To me, that's a contradiction of terms, man. I mean, to say men going their own way, that suggests that you ain't gonna never initiate conversation or interaction with women. So if you're initiating conversation and interaction with women, how is that still MGTOW? I don't understand that. See, and that's why I put up a big Twitter thing about a year ago about, because some guys, there was a few guys I had that were starting to compare Mode 1 to MGTOW. And I had to make it clear on Facebook and Twitter, man, Mode 1 ain't got shit to do with MGTOW. And I think that's been part of the issue. Matter of fact, this at least indirectly relates to this falling out I've had with this other YouTube podcaster, guy who I used to be cool with. Is that I think either he, or if not him, a lot of his followers, I think a lot of them looked at Mode 1 as kind of almost a offshoot or a spinoff of MGTOW, like kind of its own variation of MGTOW, man. Mode 1 ain't got shit to do with MGTOW. I'm not encouraging men to avoid women. I ain't never encouraged no man to avoid women, ever. As a dating coach, I'm trying to connect men with women. I'm not trying to split them up. I'm all about connecting men with women. I want men to connect with women either in terms of a long-term monogamous relationship that's going to potentially lead to marriage, or at minimum, I want to connect them for a strictly sexual relationship that's just going to result in some mutually beneficial orgasms. That's why I'm trying to connect women. I'm trying to connect men and women, man. I ain't trying to split them up. That's why I said, man, I don't have no adversarial relationship with women. I'm not in the business of bashing women. If you know about my 4 archetypes, the reciprocator, the rejecter, the wholesome pretender / erotic hypocrite, and the manipulative time waster, I would say the only one out of those 4 that you can say I come close to bashing is the manipulative time waster, which is, that's a woman who misleads men. She gives men the initial, temporary, or indefinite impression that she has some degree of interest in them romantically and or sexually, but deep down she knows she doesn't. She's just looking to exploit them either for their platonic friendship or exploit them for their financial resources and material possessions. So yeah, I have harsh criticism, but even, I'll say this, and I say this in my book, The Possibility of Sex. Excuse me, I need a break. I say this even in my book, The Possibility of Sex, man, that even manipulative time wasters, I would put at least no less than 50% of the blame on the man. That's not something you can point the finger to women about. In other words, here's the basic deal, man. The basic deal. And this is, again, why I'm criticizing a lot of you guys who are doing all this whining and complaining about women. If you read my books thoroughly, I'll point this fact out. And I'm going to point it out emphatically right here on YouTube. And look me in my eyes when I say this. If women are consistently disrespecting you, guess what? That ain't their problem. That's yours. Because that means you exhibiting such weak behavior that you're allowing women to disrespect you. If women treat you consistently like a chump or a bitch, guess what? You can slam women all they want to, but that means you exhibiting weak-ass behavior that allows women to treat you like a chump or a bitch. If women treating you like a walking, talking ATM machine and some type of sugar daddy, instead of criticizing them for being a gold digger, I'm asking you, why are you allowing yourself to be treated like a fucking ATM machine and a sugar daddy? If you're being treated like a cuckold, why are you allowing yourself to be treated like a cuckold? You know, there's an old saying that goes back for centuries, man. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, man. If somebody exhibits undesirable behavior towards you one time, then yes, you have a legitimate right to point the finger at them because you didn't know. If you go into a restaurant and you order some food and that food makes you throw up, you got a right to criticize that restaurant for serving you this piss poor food because you didn't know. So that's when you got a right to criticize them to your heart's desire. But if you go in that restaurant a second time or a third time or a fourth time knowing that that restaurant serves less than average quality food, that's on you, man. That's on you. And it's the same with a woman, man. If you meet some woman named, you know, my most commonly used name is Linda. My second is Michelle. My third is Tanya. Okay, let's go with Daphne. If you meet some woman named Daphne, and in your first interaction with her, she exhibits behavior towards you that's just disrespectful, spoiled, antagonistic, just undesirable in general, you got a right to criticize her, especially if like one of your male friends or female friends told you that Daphne was a cool woman, a high quality woman, but when you interacted with her, you know, you saw different. Yeah, you got a right to criticize that woman because you can say, damn, man, I was told this woman was real cool, but damn, she was a bitch. But man, if you choose to interact with Daphne 2 or more times and you still whining and complaining about it, dude, that's on you, bro. That's on you, man. That is on you. That's on you. You ain't got the right to criticize nobody. That's on you. You know, like I've heard guys say, hey man, I get this female friend named Linda. She never treats me like boyfriend material or casual sex lover material. She only treats me like a platonic friend. Well, guess who's allowing her to treat you like a platonic friend? That's you, motherfucker, man. You better wake up. That's on you, man. Why are you allowing a woman to treat you like nothing but a platonic friend? That's what I'm asking. You complaining about being treated like nothing but a platonic friend. Why are you allowing a woman to treat you? I don't allow a woman that I'm attracted to romantically or sexually to treat me like a platonic friend. I don't allow that shit. I don't fun club with women. If I know my interest in a woman is romantic or sexual, but I see that a woman only wants to maintain a purely platonic friendship, man, I cut that woman loose, man. I cut her loose. I don't interact with her anymore. If I interact with a woman and I get the sense that she's interacting with me because she wants me to spend money on her and provide her with materialistic gifts, guess what? I cut her loose, man. I cut her loose. Any woman who don't behave in a way that's to my liking, I cut them loose, man. I'd rather be by myself indefinitely than be with a woman that ain't to my standards and not to my liking. If a woman got undesirable behavior, I'm not hooking up with that woman. But again, for you guys, it's one thing to say, I'm going to avoid a woman because she exhibits undesirable behavior or spoiled behavior or disrespectful behavior. I have no problem with guys wanting to avoid women and go their own way for those reasons. If you want to go your own way because of that type of shit, I'm with you. I co-sign with you. But as far as, again, going back to what I started talking about, as far as these preferences and your specific, this entitlement type desire for 8s, 9s, and 10s, man, you better get out of that shit. If you're talking about, I adamantly refuse to date a woman who's a 4, 5, 6, or 7, man, okay, well, send me your address. And I'm going to send you some fucking Vaseline gel or some masturbatory gel you can use, and I would say good luck. So send me your address so I can send you some flesh lube or something that you can jack off for the rest of your life. Since you call yourself, you're going to adamantly avoid 8s, 9s, and 10s. Again, you guys wanted me to be not only real, but extra real. I kept it extra real for you in this podcast. Some of you, I'm going to reiterate it. Some of you motherfuckers ain't going to never pull no 8, 9, or 10. Ever. Ever. Like, ever. Like, from this point to the day you die, you ain't going to never pull no 8, 9, or 10, with the possible exception that if you spend thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of dollars on that woman. And even if you do that, it ain't going to be genuine interest. You think that, why do you think I always talk about how money's overrated? Money don't attract women with genuine interest in you. If you're a guy who can't naturally pull an 8, 9, or 10, but say you offer to spend $100,000 on a woman for her romantic and sexual companionship, yeah, she might share your company, but it ain't going to be genuine interest. She's just going to be sharing your company as a fake trophy on your arm so that she can have access to your finances and material possessions. I mean, if you get gratification out of that, more power to you. Good luck with you. Me, the type of person I am, I don't get anything out of that, dude. I would never get any satisfaction knowing that a woman is only with me because of how much money I'm spending on her and how many material possessions I'm buying for her. I would never get anything out of that. Ever. Both when it comes to long-term romantic relationships and even for me when it comes to even most of my short-term casual relationships, I want to attract women that have a genuine interest in me. An interest that doesn't involve money or material possessions. If I can't pull women just on that, then I don't want them, man. So anyway, I'm about it at 59 minutes now, an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here, man. So after this video podcast, I dare any of you motherfuckers to say, I don't keep shit 100. I don't keep shit extra real. Shit, I guarantee you that some of you motherfuckers, again, some of you guys who are subscribed to me are probably going to unsubscribe to me now. Because some of you all thought I was one of these bitter, wanting to bash women all the time type guys, man. That ain't me, man. If I did something to give you that impression, I apologize to you. Because that ain't me, man. Shit, I got love for sisters, man. I got love for all women, man. Again, I will call women out on their bullshit when it needs to be called out, no doubt. So in that sense, I am not a guy who panders to women. I definitely do not pander to women. When women exhibit behavior that deserves criticism, I will not hesitate to criticize them. But again, I'm not going to whine and complain that I'm not a woman's preference. That's my big thing. I ain't going to complain about that. If a woman is looking for a type of guy that I don't fit her bill, like if she's looking for a guy that's taller than me, of a different race or ethnicity than me, if she's looking for a guy who makes more money than me, drives a different car than me, has a longer dick than me, or a thicker dick than me, or a better physique than me, dude, I ain't gonna whine and complain about that shit. I concentrate on the shit that I can control. If I can control something in terms of changing it or improving it, I make all efforts to do so. You know, if I feel like I'm getting a little too heavy, a little too chunky, man, I'm going to go to the gym and work out so I can lose that weight. You know? So, hashtag. I've been giving you these long ass hashtags. They got all these multiple words, multiple syllables. But because I felt like I kept this video podcast 100, that's the hashtag. 100. 100. Hashtag for this video podcast is 100. Marinate on everything I told you. There's my burp. You know I can't go through a whole video podcast without at least one burp. But yeah, for you guys who this admonishment applies to, now a lot of you guys watching, man, y'all ain't got nothing to do with none of this shit I'm talking about. And so you have to just excuse this long ass rant. A lot of my followers and supporters, I love you all, I appreciate you all, and you all didn't have anything to do with this. You don't come to me with complaints and whinings and shit and criticisms and insults. A lot of you guys come to me genuinely looking for help. And those are the guys, man, I love you all, man. I appreciate you all. I offer email consultations, Skype and telephone consultations, and one-on-one face-to-face coaching for you guys. Guys who really are feeling my advice, really looking to genuinely improve yourself. Like I said, man, I help guys improve themselves, particularly in the area of verbal communication skills. That's my thing, man. So a lot of what I talked about in this video podcast didn't really apply to you. It has nothing to do with any of your feedback to me. So again, man, if you had to sit through all this and listen to this harsh admonishment, you know, you just have to excuse it. But for you guys who one or more of my points I made, this does apply to you, you need to marinate on what I said, man. You need to be real about shit, man. You need to be real about shit, man. You're not entitled to any woman's romantic and or sexual attention and companionship. You're not. You might think you are, but you're not. You're not entitled to any woman. Whatever woman chooses to be attracted to you, that's on her. Whatever woman chooses to share your company in a romantic or sexual manner, that's on her, man. That's on her. That's her choice. Just like it's your choice to choose to share the company of any woman who you choose to. We all got choices. We all make decisions. And you just got to live with that. Life ain't fair, man. Go to any hospital and check out children born with physical defects and handicaps and all kinds of other physical flaws, man, or even people who suffer. Life ain't fair, man. Not everybody gets the same lot, man. You just got to accept that. That's the reality of life. I'm out.
Yes, sir.
Say it again.
Yes, sir.
Who's the king?
Alan, you're the king.
Say it again.
Alan, you're the king. You're dominating me.
Say it again.
Alan, you're dominating me right now. Mode 1.
Mode 1.
Daddy, can I go, please? You're the king.
Say it again.
Oh, you're the fucking king. Yes. Yes. Yes.
You're the king, Alan.
AKA the king of verbal seduction. You know, it's the tone of your voice, how seductive your intonations are, the vibrations that you could just reach out over the phone lines and stroke a woman's breast just by the sound of your voice, how you could make her pussy so wet just by the sound of your voice. That's actually very hot.
So you said my show was what?
I said your show is powerful.
Oh, say it again.
Your show is powerful.
I bet the king would fuck me really good.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie.
Oh,
Alan Roger Currie, the king.
The king.
The king.